Let me read that again. A refusal to accept, to hear, to touch, or to consider important. It is to discard, push aside, or discount, and it is an emotionally charged knowledge that you are not loved and wanted for yourself by one or both parents. Rejection produces, listen, a feeling that one is not loved, wanted, or accepted for themselves by one or both parents, real or perceived. A self-defeating feeling of hopelessness arising from damages that have occurred during prenatal and early childhood years. A depressing feeling of not belonging, which seems to pervade every moment and every association of life. A prediction, Lord have mercy, a prediction of rejection from every relationship. And it will cause one to sabotage relationships that appear to be successful in order to feel normal. To that person, being rejected is what's normal. A blockage from love, and victims are left alone to fend for themselves. A silent killer of intimacy. A feeling of being unloved and unlovable. The need to wear a mask of normalcy. That means you ever meet people and you talk to them, and every time you see them, hey, how are you doing? And what's their response? I'm doing good. They're never honest about when they're not. You know, there's a song, J. Moss, everything is all right. Everything is okay. But that's not always the case, is it? Not always the case that that's the way we feel. And yet, people feel it necessary to put up this idea of normalcy in their lives because of rejection. The ability to keep our relationships in place while all the while leaving the heart alone. A shutdown that blocks receiving and giving. A wall impeding others from entering to offer light or hope. A love of extremes. You know, some people, they dwell on the extreme. You know, either everything is super and I'm getting ready to go to the planet Jupiter. You know, ain't nobody ever been past the moon, but I'm headed to Jupiter. Or everything is just so low and so devastating. This is the worst thing that could ever happen. Lord have mercy. A tendency to have contempt. Listen to this. A tendency to have contempt for those who behave differently, making victims cynical and sarcastic. A well-hidden contempt for others, self-centeredness, and low self-worth. That's a dangerous combination, isn't it? Now imagine how you would feel. This is a book called Heart Connections, by the way. Ron and Nancy Rocky, two of my favorite authors, Adventist psychologists. Imagine if you felt that every relationship you were in was automatically going to fail. Would that be something to be depressed about? Mm-hmm. Imagine you felt that no one loved you, and not only did no one love you, but you feel you know the reason why no one loves you, because you're unlovable. Is that a reason to be depressed? Imagine you are rejected by your parents, your mother or your father. Imagine you never knew your father. And listen, I've talked to people about this type of thing often. In fact, one time, my wife and I were doing some premarital counseling, and we were talking with a young lady, good friend of ours, and she said she never knew her father, and she said, I never knew him. It didn't bother me. I turned out just fine. I'm all right. I don't need to know him. He can stay wherever he is.